Okay, I guess it has to be like this. Okay, we are waiting for a couple of minutes to see who is coming up to talk about this very important topic about black people and why they shouldn't wait and why they should get laser hair removal when they are young. And I'm going to explain it, but I just first of all want to see how many people are going to join us. Hi, guys. Hi, hi, hi. Okay, so we have several people joining us. This is a very important topic for Black people. And as the number one expert in the United States for over 40 years treating black skin, I think it's super, super crucial that people listen to me, to what I have to say, and I'm speaking from experience. So my name is Eva Taub. I own in Miami and in Atlanta skin clinics that specialize and treat black skin. So for laser hair removal, so for discoloration, women that suffer from HS, men that suffer from HS, which is hidradenitis suppurativa, or PCOS, hormonal imbalances. Okay, great. And anything else that, thank you, Barker, and anything else that is of a concern to people that come to see me. But there is something that I want to reiterate to all the black people that are watching now and will watch later. The reason I say that black people should never wait until they get older and they start getting white hairs. The reason number one is this: laser hair removal cannot treat white hairs. Laser can only treat dark and black or brown hairs. So no matter what laser. Second, there's only one laser in the world that's approved by the FDA, and that's the Nd:YAG laser. That's the only laser that can treat black skin. I treat black skin over 40 years. And as the number one black skincare expert, I have a lot of knowledge. So here's something that happens to a lot of black people, and then they cry and they say, oh my God, Eva, why didn't I listen to you years ago when you spoke about this on YouTube? Why did I wait so long? Here is the problem with black people and white hair. Once a black man or a woman gets white hair, the white hair can only be eliminated with electrolysis. Like, guys, electrolysis. Now, what is electrolysis? Electrolysis is the oldest modality for hair removal, which is about 120 years old. Electrolysis is a way to remove hair, and this is how it works. Let's just pretend that this is a needle. This is a needle. So if you have a hair, I am taking my needle, and this is your hair, and I'm inserting the needle into the bottom of your hair follicle. So it goes through all the layers of your skin and it comes down to the bottom of your hair follicle. Once the needle went all the way to the bottom of the hair follicles, I press on a foot pedal and I release heat. And the heat is either destroying and cauterizing the blood vessels, because every human hair has two blood vessels that bring food, oxygen, blood, etc., into the hair follicle. When I press and release the heat, if the hair follicle is in the growing stage, and I will explain how this works. Hi, I see you again. This is a lovely lady, guys. This lady that just came and joined us and said, hello, Eva, she can attest to everything I am saying to you, that it is factual, because she's getting treated by me. But here is what happens. So I press on the foot pedal, heat goes down, and then when the heat goes down into the hair follicle, the heat cauterizes the blood vessels that are connected to the hair follicle, to the bottom of the hair follicle, and those blood vessels are then cauterized. Once blood vessels are not connected to the follicle will die, because blood carries oxygen, blood carries hormones, blood carries food for the hair. Same thing like for hair on your head. Same thing for the hair on your body, on your face, on your bikini, wherever it is. But here is the biggest problem. And so, because black skin is so very delicate, and because black skin is 10 times more sensitive and susceptible to discoloration than is white skin. So here is an issue with electrolysis. So in America, majority of people that do electrolysis do not know that because they don't teach you this. But ladies and gentlemen, I came to America over 40 years ago already as a license by the Board of Medicine overseas for electrology, and I have tremendous amount of knowledge and experience. So here's what's happening. So there are several kinds of needles, but there are two kinds of needles. For white people, there is a needle that when you insert a needle, the heat will go. So let's say this is the needle. I inserted the needle all the way to the hair follicle. I press on the foot pedal and the heat will go all the way down through the whole needle. It will then, if the hair follicle is in the growing stage, it will cauterize the blood vessel and the hair will die. But here is the problem. Remember what I said, that the heat goes all the way through the insertion point, all the way down to the hair follicle. But guess what happens when you are black? When you are black or dark, because the heat starts at the insertion point and then the whole shaft of the needle is hot, it burns by the entry point here where the needle enters. If I use a needle that is used for everybody, that needle will burn and create a burn mark on dark and black skin. So imagine that you have 100 hairs and I go 100 times and I create 100 burn marks on your skin. So the problem with this is the following. When you do this, you will burn the skin. So there is a needle that's made in Great Britain. And this needle is specifically made in England for black skin. Now, what's the difference? It's okay, but what's the difference? So here's the difference. So a regular needle, the heat will go all the way from here to here, right? So I am white, I have hair, I can insert a needle, nothing will happen because I'm white. I don't have dark pigment in my skin. So they created a needle for black skin. And what is the difference? So the needle does not have the heat dispersed anywhere here. Only at the tip of the needle, the heat disperses. So the heat accumulates. All this is accumulated, right? And then it disperses like this at the bottom. And because it is all accumulated, it's like an explosion of heat in one dot. So as a black person, you will feel the heat from the needle 100 times more than a white person will, because the needle for a white person, the heat will be dispersed from here to here. So the heat will be very tolerable, not a big deal, but not for black skin. Why? Because in life, everything is give and take. So we want to protect black skin, so we use a special needle that will not burn the skin, which is very important. But it will hurt about 10 times more than it will hurt a white person. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you categorically, there is not one black woman that I treated in the 40 years of my life in America that did not say, Eva, for God's sake, why didn't I listen to you? Why didn't I come? Or why didn't I know about this 5 or 10 years ago when I had no white hairs? Because it is so very painful and because there is no other method to remove the hair permanently if you have white hair, but with electrolysis. So what I am telling you, I'm telling every person that listens, don't wait till you are 35, till you are 38, till you are 40. Because ladies and gentlemen, today, more and more younger people start getting gray hair, white hair in their 30s. And I see it in my clinics in Atlanta and in Miami. I see more and more people in their 30s getting white hair. And so I want to share with you a story. I'm not naming names, but I will share with you a story so you guys understand that what I am telling you is factual, and you should heed my words. You should take my advice, because my advice is invaluable to any black person that has unwanted hair. It's invaluable. And I'm telling you that if you're a black person, if you're a black woman, if you're a black man, if you're a mother of a child that starts getting ingrown hairs, or you care about your children, you don't want them to have ingrown hairs, you don't want them to have two hairs. And mothers can very easily see, when a young girl gets her period, which is probably today can be even at age 9, but let's say at age 10 or 11, a young girl gets her period. Then hormones are changing. And so by age 11 or 12, a mother of a black child can already see if there is any irregularities and if there is suddenly any facial hair. Just so you understand, black people and white people, that's across the board. Children and women in general can have. So if you're a black person and you have facial hair, usually it is either genetically connected to your grandmother, to your aunt, to your father, on your father's side, somewhere down the line. It does not have to be the first generation, can be the second generation. Somewhere genetically in the family, some other female was predisposed to unwanted hair, and these genes continued as a lineage, it continues, and then second or third generation, you are getting hair. That would be 70% of the case for all women, for all black women that have facial hair. So genetics is a big thing. The second big thing, okay, I will correct, not 70, it's 60%. Because the second big thing of unwanted hair, and statistics show that anywhere between 38 to 40% today of black women suffer from hormonal imbalance, PCOS, and endometriosis and Hashimoto disease. But the number one condition that black women suffer from is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And this is why I said mothers of teenagers can see this on very early stages, the first year of your period. If a child, because this is how a period should be. So you're a child, you're a mother of a child, she gets her period. So the first period, of course, will be light, and it's just the beginning. But 3-4 periods down the line, the period should regulate itself, and the child should have a period 5 days, 3 days, 6 days, and it should usually come like every 28 days on a regular basis. The red light should come up in a mother's mind is when the child, and this is very important that mothers do, and unfortunately because so many young people don't know, and then they are parents and they don't know to ask, and they don't know to follow this. So children fall and teenagers fall in between the cracks because their parents don't know. But when you are a mother to a young child, she gets her period, it is your responsibility to ask your child, you got your period this month, and do register, like pay attention for the first year. Register what day in March, in April, in May, your child got her period. If the child suddenly says, oh no, I didn't get my period for 2 months, ladies and gentlemen, the red light and the horn should go up, because there is a problem, and that's the beginning of PCOS. That's the beginning of the problem. Because today, children are so developed, and whatever used to happen, at age 14 now happens at age 9. So when your child doesn't have a regular period and you follow it, but you, as a mother, you have to follow, the grandmother, whoever is raising the child, you have to pay attention, you have to follow this. Because that is, if irregular periods start, that's the first indication that there is a problem. And the problem has to be addressed. And the child has to go to a gynecologist, or the child has to go with the mother to an endocrinologist, and they have to figure out, they have to do some blood work, they have to figure out what is going on. Because early intervention can prevent the future and problem in the future. And what I mean by that is, if you do absolutely nothing about it, and unfortunately, a majority of black children and black women in general don't even think that there is anything that can be done. And particularly if you live in rural areas of America, and if you live like in areas like Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, Carolinas, you're really in the deep south, and you're really in rural areas, and you don't even have anybody that would advise you that irregular periods are not okay, and irregular periods start usually at teenagehood, and having periods with big blood clots is also not okay, because that is also a sign that there is a hormonal imbalance. And why I speak about periods and why I speak about young girls, because the problem starts with your period. Because once a young girl gets a period, her hormones are changing, everything internally changing. She's going toward the direction of becoming a young woman. And it is then that an intervention has to come by the parent to the child. And yes, you have to follow. And look, maybe some parents don't feel comfortable talking to their children. Well, I assume that everybody knows that you have period pads. And I assume that when a teenager is a teenager or a young girl, she's not using tampons. I would hope not. So they use period pads, right? So you as a mother can go after them when they go to the bathroom, and you can check. Yes, you can check. It's only blood, and it's the blood of your child. So open the pad and look if the blood is just red or there is dark blood and there are clots in there. This is all something that is the duty of a mother, of a parent, of a caretaker, of a child, because this is where you can intervene. Because I guarantee you, and I stake the one life I have, that if this is the problem, and the problem starts with irregular periods, your child will suffer from unwanted hair on the face, because the period is related to cysts, which is related to hormones, which is related to imbalance of hormones, and the one thing leads to the other one. And so when a girl becomes 14 and she already had for 4 years a period, and she becomes 14 and suddenly she becomes full of hair. Girls, and being a teenager all over the world today is, I think, a very hard time of life of a young person. And I tell you why. Because children are cruel. This is number one. Children are very cruel. Also because children are promiscuous today, and they are active sexually at a very young age without understanding the consequences of it. But let's just take the sexual equation out of it. You have a 12-year-old, you have a 13-year-old, and suddenly she grows hair. And children will make jokes about your daughter, about the child in school. How do I know? Because it happened to my own child. And my child went to private school. But it makes no difference. Children are cruel. Children were cruel 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and they're cruel today. It's just the nature of children. Children will laugh. You will fall off a chair and children will laugh, because to them it's funny. To me it's shocking, but to a child it's funny that you fall off the chair. So children will laugh at anything, and children will make jokes. And so then we say, oh, she has a beard, she's like a man. All you have to say this once to a teenager, to a girl, you finish her off. That girl will now go and pluck the hairs, and because, you has no education, and she will start waxing the hairs. And if she's a black girl, she will wax the hairs. The waxing will make the skin darker, number one, will help with more ingrown hairs. If she's tweezing, she's making wounds because she's trying to get the hair that she fears, okay? Then she's starting to cover up with a lot of makeup because she doesn't want people to see. And in many cases, she doesn't say to the mother. She doesn't say to the person that raises her. And people don't pay attention. And so what I am saying is, as parents, you have an obligation to pay attention to your children. I mean, children are dependent on you. Children are born. They didn't ask to be born. You had sex, you had fun, and you delivered a child. But you now, for the 5 minutes of fun that you have a responsibility for the rest of your life. And it is a responsibility. And you should be responsible enough to watch and care for your child. And caring for your child is not only feeding your child. The well-being of your child is very, very important. And the well-being starts at home, starts by watching your child, starts by observing things, and start by having communication with your child. And so I will go to the next step, and I will tell you that if you have a child, if you have a teenager, and her periods are irregular, that child will develop PCOS. I stake the one life I have. But if you do intervention, and if you take her to a gynecologist, if you take her, and unfortunately, in America, they have such a stupid system that a child, I think it's a child till it's 18, to go to a pediatrician. I mean, this is ridiculous. In Europe, a pediatrician is 2 to 3 years and finito la commedia. That's it, you move on. But here, so no, so you don't go to a pediatrician because they know shit from Shynora. They know nothing about the reproductive organs of a teenager that menstruates. You need to take your child to a gynecologist. You need to take your child to an endocrinologist. They need to run tests. They need to run blood work. And they will figure out what is going on with your child. And they will put your child on medication, on birth control, whatever the suggestion is, whatever the lack of hormone or overproduction of hormone requires. But by that action, you will stop and prevent continuation of this disease. And when you stop and prevent continuation at age 14 or 13 or 15, you will also stop the excessive stimulation of hair growth and hair follicles. You will stop that. So this is why I say that it is crucial that mothers pay attention on these details of a teenage girl, because as a mother you have an obligation, but as a mother you can prevent your child become a teenager and become an adult and suffer from unwanted hair. And of course, unwanted hair comes also with gaining weight, because when you have PCOS, there's a hormonal imbalance. And ladies and gentlemen, remember one thing: misery likes company. And so if a child, and to me, an 11, 12-year-old is a child. If a child is teased in school, by friends, and girls can be mean and boys can be mean, that child already has a handicap there, because there is a problem. She knows there is a problem. She doesn't know exactly what to do about the problem. That child also starts gaining weight because she has an imbalance of hormones. And now, misery likes company. What happens? So because boys, a teenager, when a boy tells her, oh, and they make a joke of her, and girls make jokes because she has facial hair, or they could see some hairs, that girl now closes inside. And you close in because you're embarrassed, because you're ashamed. And then the next step, okay, now you gained weight. Now you don't have the education, you don't have the tools. Nobody tells you, nobody educates you. So what do? You grab food. And what food do you grab? You grab the most horrible food that you can for a teenager, which is satisfying, because sugar and flour is very satisfying. And you eat like really garbage, very bad food, and now you are blowing up. You're blowing up because you have hormonal issues, and there's an imbalance. But then you're also blowing up from food. And then look how this is a vicious cycle. And by 16, you weigh 300 pounds, or 250 pounds, or 200 pounds, whatever it be. Now you're trying to cover up what you have. And now you as a mother didn't pay attention, and you might be yelling at your child, why are you so fat, why are you gaining weight, but you didn't pay attention to everything that happened. But remember, misery likes company, and because the situation is such that when this is bad, well, then you don't care what happens here. And now listen this. The other thing that happens when this happens to a child is you make very bad choices for your life as a teenager. So you are 300 pounds, you have facial hair, you twist them, you move them away, you do hi Jenny, hi mommy, hi. You do everything that you have to do to keep afloat. Now you are 16. You're overweight. You have facial hair. What boy? Just tell me, and I want to know what young black man wants really to go out with an overweight, a black girl, or would he go out with a slim, tall, beautiful girl? What will he choose? And here is my point. Here's my point. When this happens, the girl that already made bad choices because she didn't have guidance is going to make bad choices for the future of her life. And because she's embarrassed, she's ashamed, she feels uncomfortable in her own skin. She doesn't know where to go. She doesn't know what aid, what help she can get. She hears all kinds of grandmother stories out there about do this or do this, and friends advise her. And what's the next thing? She sleeps with a guy. The guy, it's a one-night stand. She gets pregnant. She has a child. And what happens then? Because it's a vicious cycle, and then it happens again, because the mere fact that you are overweight, the mere fact that you are fat, the mere fact that you have hormonal imbalance doesn't say that you don't have a heart, doesn't say that you have no emotions, doesn't say that you don't have a soul. This all affects you, and this is when I say misery likes company. And then because you are in this bad situation, the next step happens, and then you find another guy that is going to sleep with you. You are now 350 pounds, and you have a child. And so do you see what I'm saying when I say that the intervention should be by parents, by mothers of young girls at teenagehood, and it is your responsibility, because you can change the equation of giving your child the possibility of an amazing future and an amazing life is very, very different, than if you don't do it. And ladies and gentlemen, I know so many people over the 40 years that I treated, so many black women that came to me and said, Eva, I wish I would have you as a mother. Eva, I wish somebody would have told me when I was 15 or when I was 16. So this is such a deep, deep program, and this is why I'm talking, because I think that I teach you, I teach people, I teach mothers, I explain, I make sure that the right information goes out there and the right tools you have. And so what are the right tools? As we said, you start looking at the period pads, you start looking at the period, you follow your child, you register for a year that the period is every month and that it is similar on the day up or day down, but not 2 months or 3 months, no, and then yes, because that's a red flag. Okay, so if you do that, you share as a mother or as a caretaker, and then if there is a problem, you address the problem with a medical doctor, you are giving a chance to that young person and their future. So now you're solving this problem, but now I need you to hear something else. If already hormones play the role, and this is for any woman, and now doesn't have to be a child, this can be anybody. But if hormones play a role in your life, let's say, and you get You are 17, you are 18, you are 20, and you have hormonal imbalance, and you have irregular periods, and you get facial hair. And you heard my video, and now you went to a doctor, endocrinologist or gynecologist, and they put you on medication. They also found out that you have diabetes, so they put you on metformin, they put you on medication to regulate, and eventually your period is regular, but the hair is still there. So here's what happens. If you treat the condition, if you treat it on the very early, you can stop more hair follicles to become active. But here's what happens. Every human being, doesn't matter what skin color you are, we have 1,000 hair follicles on a square inch of skin. 1,000 hair follicles. The moment you get hormonal imbalance, some of the hair follicles, let's say 300, already were activated. These 300 follicles out of the 1,000 on your skin were activated. Anytime a hair follicle is activated, that hair follicle will continue germinating and stimulating, constantly growing new hair until you kill that hair follicle. And this is where I come into the play. So let's just say, for the sake of conversation, you are now on hormonal treatments, and you're saying, but Eva, I still have hair. Yeah, because the 300, 200, 500 hair follicles that were already germinated and activated and stimulated on a square inch of your skin for the last 4 years or last 5 years, even if you take your medication and your hormones to counterbalance, those follicles will continue to be active. And these follicles can only be treated with laser hair removal if the hair is black. If the hair is white, then the only way is to treat it with electrolysis. So, because those hairs, once a hair is activated, that hair will continue to grow, that hair will continue to germinate, and unless we physically kill it, that hair will continue, and you might have the perfect period, and you might be regulated, and all your cysts are gone, but the hair still grows. So what you achieve by going to the doctor, and when you already have a problem for several years, not all 1,000 hair follicles are active in the square inch of your skin. There are 300, 200, 400, not all 1,000. If you don't do anything about it and you go through life, maybe 800 will become active in the period of your 60, 70, 80 years of life, okay? But if you figure out what your problem is and you seek help and you go for laser hair removal, you can get rid of the hairs that were stimulated and active by your hormones, by the hormonal imbalance, and the medication that you are taking is preventing the hair follicles that were not yet activated, they didn't become yet active. It's preventing those hair to become active, to germinate and start growing hair. This is why it is absolutely important to go and get treatment and medical treatment to stop the additional hair growth that can come from hormonal imbalance. That, guys, is super, super important. So I stress this out for young people and for parents of young people. So the second thing that I'm going to tell you, and I started with it, so whoever joined us now, the topic was laser hair removal and electrolysis, and why black people should never wait until their hair starts turning white, because it really hurts to treat white hair with electrolysis for black skin if you are doing it with the correct needle. And the correct needle, as I explained earlier, a correct needle for black hair, for white hair on black skin, is a special needle, and that needle will eliminate burning your skin and create burns, but because of that, it will, at the follicle level, at the bottom of the level, it will have a much bigger intensity of heat that's releasing into the hair follicle than if the whole needle had the heat dispersed through the whole needle from top to bottom. So, said that, now we are moving forward. Again, so black people should never wait. As soon as they start getting hair, get rid of it. Do laser hair removal. And guys, look, laser is not the cheapest, but laser is also not the most expensive. And look, as far as I can judge, so I judge black women, okay? And majority of black women that I know, I live in Miami, I live in Atlanta, I judge. Black women are very well put together, and black women are very well dressed. And black women spend a lot of money on designer stuff. Now, I would say spend $2,000 or $3,000 a year less on designer stuff or stuff that you are buying, and invest it in yourself or invest it in your child. Because it's not that much more. And if you do that, you will make your child's life perfect as far as her appearances, or you will make your life perfect as far as appearances, because you will get rid of the hair, you will get rid of the embarrassment, and you will not be embarrassed to kiss a man or kiss a boy and be afraid that they touch you and they feel that you have a full-grown beard that you shaved, but you shaved in the morning, and by 7 or 9 o'clock when you kiss the boy, you have a 5 o'clock shadow and they can feel prickly. And I promise you that no man, no matter how much he loves you, really enjoys kissing a woman. If a real man, let's just put men, like real men. I'm talking about men that love women, okay? This is what I'm talking about. A man that loves woman loves a woman that is smooth, that is soft. They don't want a beard. They don't want to kiss a man's face. And this is what happens for women that have hormonal imbalances, that never took care of it, that have excessive hair growth, that the hair is there. And the embarrassment and the discomfort and the shame comes with the territory. And it all can be avoided and prevented if you start. As soon as you start seeing hair, and if you do something about it ASAP. So that's very important. And the last thing, I said it, I was today on Instagram, and I said it, and I will say it again here. Guys, there is a disease called HS, hidradenitis suppurativa. It's a disease that inflicts black people, inflicts white people. But generally, it inflicts more black people than inflicts white people. And it's a disease that I think in skin diseases is probably one of the most debilitating, one of the worst diseases that there is that inflicts human beings. And the worst part of it is there is no cure for the disease. Now you can prevent it, and again, it's the same story I'm going to tell you about laser hair removal. So what we know about HS. So HS starts with one ingrown hair follicle, only one ingrown hair follicle. That's how HS starts. And once and again, nobody knows. There's not a surgeon, there's not a doctor, there's not an institution, there's not a university in the world that knows, because not enough money was poured into researching and finding out why this happens. But the guys, don't be surprised, because do we know why there is acne? No. Do we know how to prevent acne? No. We know what antibiotics will respond to the bacteria, but we don't know how to prevent it. So don't be surprised that there is no information about HS. What we know de facto is that HS starts from the first ingrown hair that a black person gets. And that ingrown hair can be under your armpits, on your bikini, on your vagina, around your anus, on your butt cheeks, under your breast, under the folds of your belly if you have fat, in the inner thighs. This is where HS basically happens. My theory is that it happens because there must be some kind of cellular or genetic disconnect, and because otherwise I have no explanation why 60 or 62% of all black people only get ingrown hair but never get HS, and why 38% of black people get one ingrown hair and then they start with HS, with hidradenitis suppurativa. So I believe that there is an internal component that triggers something in the body, and once the first hair turned into an HS hair, that's it. Now, how do you prevent it? You prevent it by doing laser hair removal. You prevent it by starting laser hair removal as soon as you can. So you are 16, 18, 20, 22. Get rid of the hair on your underarms. Get rid of the hair on your vagina. Get rid of the hair on your anus. Get rid of the hair on your butt. Get rid of the hair in your inner thighs. Get rid of the hair where HS is actually has a dominant ability to become active. Now, to those of you that don't know, I'm very happy that you don't know what a disease is. But I challenge every one of you that is watching now, watching later, please go to Google and just type in Google search, show me pictures of black women and men inflicted with HS. And then you will understand what I'm saying. Then you will understand how horrible of a disease it is, how debilitating this disease is, how painful this disease is, how embarrassing the disease is, how badly this disease smells, how it debilitates people. And I'm telling you that I know people that actually feel suicidal. They don't want to live, because it changes your life. So just think about this. You have HS, it's under your armpits. Well, it's under your armpits. Now you are also overweight a little bit, and it's in between your thighs, and it's on your tush, or it's around your rectum, your anus, where the back cheeks connect. So what happens is it starts as an ingrown hair, and then that ingrown hair festers, and the ingrown hair then creates, if you could picture like Play-Doh, and you create like there's a Play-Doh line from this hair to this hair, and then it happens and there's like a Play-Doh, and this Play-Doh goes now to the second hair, and now there is actually like an elevation. There is a scar. It looks like a noodle. It looks like a flat pasta. It's just around, and now it's here, right? Well, the area from here to here is super painful. So everything that you would touch in between is very painful. That's number one. Number two, this point and this point, okay? And there can be many points in the body where the hair originally was trying to come out and turned inward and became an HS hair. It creates, first of all, pus, and then there is toxic poison blood. And there is inflammation, there is swelling, so it's an abscess. When you ever had a wound or acne, and it was full of pus, and you would touch it, you would say, oh my God, don't touch it, hurts. Now imagine that pain multiplied by 50. This is how much an HS wound will hurt. And it is festering under the skin, filled up with pus, and filled up with like dark blood, toxic blood. These wounds, first of all, so if you have it on your tush, like how do you sit? You cannot sit because it's so painful. If you have it between your thighs, how do you walk? You can't rub your thighs because it's so painful. You have it under your armpits. How do you close your armpit? Every move you make, it hurts. So that is the one composition and the one part of HS. The other part of HS is suddenly and it can be out of the blue, under your armpit, or under your breast, or on your crotch, or on your bikini, or on your tush, it bursts. And again, look on Google, look how this looks when it bursts. How much pus and blood is oozing from there. You wouldn't believe how much pus and blood oozes, and it creates a hole. There is a relief for the second that it bursts, because all the toxin that was accumulated here and festered is very painful. So it reduces the pain by 30% for the moment that it oozes, that it comes out. The smell of this when it oozes is like a cadaver, like a dead body or dead animal. If you ever smelled it, this is what it smells like. Because this is all poison, it's all toxic, it's very, very bad. Now imagine that you are inflicted with this disease, you have it in between your thighs, or you have it on your bikini. How do you have sex? You can't. And you must have a very loving husband, but every human being has, most of the people have a nose and they smell. And from my experience of 40 years in America treating black women, I think black women are so clean and smell so good. In my 40 years of treating black women, and I do laser or I do treatments, women are naked, right? I only encountered once, no, twice in my lifetime. 2 black women that didn't smell clean at the bottom. But the thousands of people that I've seen, they all smell like flowers. They are super, super clean. So now imagine a black woman that is inflicted with this disease and this burst. She has a nose, she can smell, and even if the man loves her, the man smells too, and it turns your stomach because the smell is just awful. So do you understand when I tell you that you absolutely, absolutely should not wait when you have ingrown hairs, that you should do laser hair removal ASAP at the youngest age possible? Because if you do that, you will eliminate the possibility of HS, because if you eliminate the hair, and HS comes from hair, from ingrown hair, as the culprit of it, then you will eliminate HS. You might never get HS. You might be in the 60% of lucky people that don't get HS. But what happens if you're in the 38 or 40% of people in America that do get HS? What do you do there? Now, you say, okay, well then I go for laser. Can you just imagine that you have all these abscesses and I would do laser and I will create more discomfort for you? You don't want anybody to touch you. You don't want anybody to come close to you. And trust me, I've done a lot of people and I work with a lot of empathy and compassion, and I will go around and I will try not to come close to the wound because I know how much an abscess hurts. So the solution, I am not selling you, because ladies and gentlemen, 99.9%, I will never see any of you that watch my videos. I won't. I will probably see 0.001% of you that will ever come to see me from watching my video. So I am not selling you. What I'm doing, I am educating you. I'm giving you the tools, and I'm telling you what you should do. This is what I'm doing. I will give you an additional tool, and I will tell you in addition, I'm just looking if there's not, okay. I will tell you another thing that you can do. So, yeah, lovely if you can come and be treated by me personally in Georgia or in Florida. Lovely. But if that doesn't happen, I want you to look for somebody, and that might not be easy, and it might not be easy now. Maybe it will be easier in 2 years, because I just started and created a course for professionals to buy my course, How to Treat Black Skin, and that encompasses everything. So maybe in 2 years we will have mini Avas all over America, but right now they're not here. So you have to do your due diligence and find somebody who specializes in black skin and who uses the Nd:YAG laser and who uses the appropriate needles for white hair in black skin and who treats black skin for many, many years. Unfortunately, the bad news is you won't find too many people. There might be people that will say that they do. Do you due diligence? You know, you can go through my videos. If you say, okay, like Eva, how will I find out? Like, how will I know? I tell you what, spend a weekend binge watching my videos. There is so much information that I don't know, I have like 700 videos or so. There's so much information in my videos that you can look, you can listen, and I give you so many tools. I tell you so many things that you can do to help yourself, that once you watch my videos and you get so many tools, you write it all down, it will make your life easier to look for somebody. And then when you go to somebody, I give you the tools to figure out if that person is right for you, if they know what they're doing. And if you watch my videos, because I show many videos how I do laser, how I prepare the skin, I show you. So you have the ability, you have the ability to know which laser you should be using and how it should be done. So that's very, very important. My camera just fell. That's very, very important. So you have the tools. I'm giving it to you. I can't give you everything in one video, but here I am just addressing an issue that I think is so specific to black women or black men too. I mean, black men don't have an exclusivity that they don't suffer from HS. But I think black women suffer more than black men because, so black women, I think first of all, because hormones, but secondly, I think black women have more fat compared to, let's say, young black men. I think young black men are slimmer. So I think that has an effect on the area, but there can be slim people who will get HS. So a young black man will probably not get it on his chest because he doesn't have boobs. He doesn't have anything underneath. There's no perspiration, there's no heat, there's no humidity, there's no darkness. He doesn't have a roll here of fat like we have or I have. However, on his pubis, he has HS. Under his testicles, he has HS. In between his thighs, he has HS. Around the shaft of his penis, not the penis itself, but where the hair comes out, between the pubis and the shaft of the penis, he has HS. So, and now how do I know? Because I treat a lot of black men over the 40 years, and I treat black men with HS. And again, if you binge watch my videos, there are actually some black guys that were very generous to me, and they allowed me to videotape them even when I did laser on them. Okay, I don't show you their penises, but I show how the skin looks, and I show what I do, and they even were very generous to talk and say how debilitating this is, how embarrassing this is, how painful this is, how they cannot do anything. You can't walk. You can't walk when you have it in between your thighs. Not possible to walk. Because if your thighs are rubbing, it hurts. Not possible to sit. So this is why it is important for all black women to understand that getting rid of your hair is not a luxury. Getting rid of your hair should not be looked on as an expense. It should be looked on as an investment in you or in your child. I will tell you this, that I have quite a few black clients that come to see me for years. And I know them when their children were 4 years old, and today their children are teenagers. And the mothers, because the mothers get the education from me. So the mothers bring now the children. I have a lot of children, like teenagers, to me they are children, that I do laser hair removal from under the armpits, that I do laser hair removal on the bikini, or boys that I do laser hair removal on their neck because the parents don't want that the boys should have ingrown hairs and problems and bumps. So it's sort of like I am already, guys, I'm up there in age. I am already treating the second generation of the same family, because anybody that comes to me gets the education, understands. I talk from my heart, and I talk from knowledge, and I talk from experience, and I care. So people respond back. It's just 99.9% of you, I don't know you, and you don't know me, so you don't know, if I'm bullshitting you, but I assume that you can figure out by my talking, by my presentation of something, by my annotation, by my tone, by my excitement, that what I am telling you, I'm telling you the truth, I'm telling you the facts. And therefore, I think that it should be crucial for all of you to pay attention and share this video. Share this video with other people. Like, take the link of my video. And I will tell you, I just learned something new about YouTube. Okay, and this is why I think it's important that you guys share this, like physically, like you take the link of the video and email it, or however you do it, to a friend or to somebody that can benefit from you. Because I tell you what's happening. And I was just this week listening. So YouTube is making a lot of changes. And YouTube is trying to copy what TikTok did. And so today, if you have subscribers, you subscribers are no longer getting the messages when you go live or when you bring a video up. There will be a very small percentage of your subscribers that will get a message that you are live. 90% or 80% of the subscribers no longer get a message. YouTube is changing. They changed their algorithm, so subscribers no longer matter. Also, liking the video no longer matters. What matters is what they are trying to do is they are trying to copy. TikTok, and TikTok was pushing forward, advance the most stupidest, the most irrelevant videos. But people like to scroll and see stupid things. Maybe because it takes their mind away from real life, but people would look. And so the stupider a video is, the stupider the person is, the more likes he would have, for whatever reason. I can't understand, but for whatever reason. Well, this is the direction at this moment that YouTube is going. If you provide content that is educational, if you provide content that is good, and if there is now 20 people that will subscribe, most of the people, maybe once or twice, will get a notification that I come or about the video, and 80% will not, because I am not a sex star. I don't make stupid videos. My videos are of an interest to a very small niche of people. So my videos are not pushed up. My videos are pushed down, because I preach to a very small choir. I don't preach to everybody, and I don't say stupidities. So it's not like you are excited to, whenever comes, because there's stupidity and there is a lot of porno showing. That's not the case. So it's sort of changing the picture. So that's why I don't care if you subscribe, don't subscribe. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you share the video, that you share it, that take it, maybe because most people are 100% better than I am. So what I say is, if you can take 2 minutes of your time, if you think, okay, whatever said makes sense, and you can send it to 2 people that you know, that have hair, that have children, that have ingrown, you heard or you saw, send it to them. Send it to them. Not because you're enriching me, because these people like you will never come to see me, but they will have the tools in their hands. They will have the tools in their hands to look for somebody and go and see somebody that can help them or can help their child. So I always say that we can make this world a better place only if people sort of, one helps the other one. I'm helping you. I'm talking. I don't know who is here, who is what. I mean, I recognize 2 or 3 people, but other than that, I don't know who is here. All I know is that there is a reason why I'm sharing this, and I promise you that You will not hear it anywhere on YouTube. What I am telling you and what I am preaching to you, what I'm teaching you, you will not hear anywhere on YouTube. For several reasons, because nobody has the knowledge and experience that I have. I do this over 40 years, so nobody can come even close to my little pinky in knowledge and in experience. So that's number one. But number two, just what I said a second ago, my topic is not popular. This is not a popular topic. So people go on YouTube and they go on social media because they want to become big and they want to grow and they want to be explosive and they want to make millions of dollars. Whatever the story is. That's not the case with me. I don't want to be popular. Not at my age, guys, I'm 69. I'll soon be 70. At my age, I care to be popular. I don't. I'm now in the decline. I'm going to retire in one of these coming years. So I don't care. This is not important to me. It is also not important to me to make $75 from YouTube. Not important. I don't care. That's not important to me. What is important to me is to teach you. And I have such a gut feeling. It's just my gut feeling, guys, that maybe 10 years from now or 15 years from now, what I am preaching today, eventually some schools, some medical schools, some aesthetic schools will pick up my information and will start teaching it. But that's not happening now. Now there's only one person that teaches it and tells it to you. I'm the pioneer. I am the one. Nobody else teaches you. Nobody, for many, many reasons, nobody tells you. I'm the only one. So therefore I say, if you share, you are doing a favor to whoever else you are sharing it with, because you might be changing your sister's daughter's life by just sharing my information, and your sister will listen and say, oh yeah, okay. So my daughter hasn't had a period for 7 months. And she gained weight a lot lately. Okay, so Eva said, take her to a gynecologist, endocrinologist. Don't take her to a pediatrician. So that's important. And I can tell you categorically, de facto, factual thing, that if you live in Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, or rural Georgia, you will not even get to see a gynecologist, because you will go to a general practitioner, and that general practitioner knows shit from shinola. You know what that means? Knows nothing about PCOS, knows nothing about your condition, knows nothing about black skin. Why? Because he was never taught in school, because he studied, and he has absolutely no knowledge. Now, why does that happen? It has nothing to do with racism. It has to do with economics. A young man or a young woman study in medical school. They go 7 years, 8 years, whatever, how many years. They have $500,000 or $1 million in debt. When they graduate school, they have a diploma, but that makes them a maven, that makes them a knowledgeable professional? No, they need a job. Not everybody can get a job in New York or in Manhattan or in Miami. It just doesn't happen, or Los Angeles. So they will take a job wherever a job is offered. And a lot of places offer jobs in rural areas, like Mississippi, like Alabama, like Tennessee, like rural Georgia, like rural South Carolina, North Carolina. And so then you get this young guy that graduated school, they know nothing, but they are maybe just because they have a diploma and they passed the test. No, they just passed the test. So they have an MD next to them, but that doesn't make them yet maybe not knowledgeable. And now you come to them, and they know nothing, because if you don't go into a specialty, you're just touching in medical school in generalities. So they don't know in detail what happens with PCOS and hidradenitis suppurativa and hormonal imbalances, and they don't know the statistics of black people. So your chances, if you're in rural areas, to find a good doctor are very minimal. And in this case, I would suggest that you make an appointment with a gynecologist, with an endocrinologist in a big city. So I know in Alabama, I think Birmingham is a big city. So if you are in rural Alabama, go to Birmingham and look for an established gynecologist or endocrinologist. And go and get tested or get your child tested. And even if you have to pay for it, do it. Because money cannot replace happiness in life and comfort in life. So do it. Do not go when you're in rural areas to a doctor or GP somewhere, wherever you are, because he honestly will not know what to do and how to help you. And in the best case, they will give you some medication that absolutely will not help you. I just, not long ago, I had somebody, was it Tennessee or Alabama, somewhere rural, and then she said to me, well, then I went, and when I went, and then he gave me Vaniqua. You know Vaniqua, that cream that stops the hair growth? That was the answer to the person that was 385 pounds, overweight, that had a full beard. Say, take Vaniqua. That was the answer. There was no suggestion. Let's do blood work. Let's test you estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. Let's do a vaginal ultrasound. Let's find if you have cysts. Let's do a free-floating testosterone. Let's test you for diabetes. Let's test you for Hashimoto disease. Let's test all your thyroids. None of that was suggested because he doesn't know. And why should he even care? He gets paid $40,000 for a year to work in a rural area. He's pissed as is that he has $500,000, $1 million in debt, and he has to take job in a rural area in a hall, and he gets paid like minimum, like nothing. And he sits there, so why would he in particular care? So this is why I say when this comes around, go and look. Go to more concentrated, like more cosmopolitan cities, and do your own homework and do your own research about a good gynecologist, a good endocrinologist. Because I promise you that if you don't do that, whatever you will find in your area is going to be disastrous, is going to be horrible. If something comes to my mind that I'm thinking about, I have a client. She's a black woman, she's lovely, and I know her for several years. And she lives in Alabama, but I think somewhere in the rural area of Alabama, I don't know exactly where. And I think she has 3 children, and this is now going on the 3rd year. Her 18-year-old daughter, so the daughter was a beautiful young girl. From today to tomorrow, the child stopped talking. The child stopped talking. It's like the child had a stroke. And she stopped talking, she couldn't eat, she couldn't feed us, she couldn't do anything. So the mother took her to a hospital, wherever the rural area, to the doctor, and they obviously didn't figure anything out. And they say, okay, well, we don't know what's wrong, but just feed her and take care of her. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 3rd year. And I advise, and I don't know if she did or didn't because I lost contact with her, but I said to her after 2 years, I said, you want to tell me that in 2 years you went to the doctor and they wouldn't give you a referral? She said, no, they wouldn't give me a referral. I said to her, get out of Alabama. Get out of Alabama. Go do Google search. Find an endocrinologist or find a neurologist in Atlanta, and take your child to Atlanta to a neurologist, even if you have to pay. The child does not talk. The child is now going to be 21 years old. She's a beautiful girl. I believe she had a stroke. I said she had a massive stroke. Nobody detected it, and the child is vegetating, and the mother is taking care of that now 21-year-old daughter since she's 18. That's the medical care that she gets in the rural area in Alabama. And that's the truth. So this is why, I suggest that if you're in a rural area, you're in a position, spend the extra dollars, and go see in a cosmopolitan city a specialist, because he can change your life. Okay, guys, I thank you very, very much for staying with me. I think I'm here over an hour. I shared my information. If anybody has any questions, you want to ask me something, you can always email me to medspa33154@gmail.com. That's medspa331. Thank you. Thank you, Sarako. Thank you. medspa33154@gmail.com. You can email me there, or you can call me at 305-864-3333. And if you have questions, and if I can answer you or I can help you, Janet, thank you, or I can advise you, then I will do it absolutely with pleasure. I hope you're okay, Janet. I like the Purple Heart. So just do what I suggested. Just help somebody else. Just help somebody else. Forward this information, because it is too important, and it is absolutely going to be pitiful if so many young Black women will grow up with such issues and such problems, and they will just destroy their life because of circumstances. And the circumstances could be avoided. And for all Black people, for all Black women, I'm telling you, do not spend money on miscellaneous things. Put your money together and get laser hair removal. The first ingrown hair you see, you should run for your life to get laser hair removal. The only way that a Black person can be treated is with the Nd:YAG laser. It's the only laser that's suitable for Black skin. Guys, 305-864-3333. You can call me there. Don't call me today, but call me Monday. Even if you call me today, I forgot my phone in my clinic, so I won't get the messages anyhow. But just please ask questions or email me questions, and please forward this information to other people, because you honestly can change somebody else's life. Okay. Thank you very much. Stay safe, everybody. My Colorado friend, please stay warm. Janae, please stay warm. P.S. We had a very cold weather. You know why I was rolling up my sweater? Because I have the heat on in the house, and I'm in my studio, and I was getting hot. But I have the heat on because it really, for the last week, the temperature at night goes down to 40, 39. Really, really cold. But I was getting hot because it's not so cold, and I have the heat on, but I have the heat on for all my old and sick dogs. They have like all 3 or 4 sweaters on, and I have the heat on, so they should be comfortable. So that's it. Yes, we'll do. We'll contact you Monday, Tuesday, once I finalize my travel plans to make my appointment. Oh, thank you, love. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, and I promise you that by the time you come, the weather is going to be nice, because I checked, and I think actually from tomorrow, after tomorrow, the temperatures are going to start going up. So I think that the worst is behind us, and from now on, the weather will be nice. So when you come to Miami, I promise you will have nice weather, and so you can go also for a walk on the beach, okay? All right, thank you. Kisses to everybody. Good night. Thank you, everybody. Ciao, Janae. Bye-bye, darling. Bye.